Wait, Kevin, why would we even want to buy Bitcoin on the stock markets? We already have Coinbase, Gemini, and many other great crypto exchanges. Great question. I promise I'm not going crazy here. Many people already trade Bitcoin on the stock markets because there's some unique benefits that you get when doing this. I'm talking tax benefits, less hassle, and many other things that we're going to touch on in a bit. Now, GBTC is the main way to do this, but there's also a couple of other newer options that you should know about. So in this video, we're going to dig in and around this topic of how you can trade Bitcoin on the stock markets, cover the latest on GBTC, other options you have, and why you'd even want to do this. Strap in, folks, because you're in for a treat. Let's go. Hey guys, I'm Kevin from BFB, and I gotta say, everybody looks like a genius in a bull market, but I'm hoping that with our deep research and honest opinions, we can give you that long-term edge in the crypto space. While you're watching this video, if you like what you see, please give that like button a quick tap because that split-second click would help me out immensely. All right, let's start at the very top. Why would people want to trade Bitcoin on the stock markets? I see 4 different reasons. First, you can easily get some Bitcoin in your retirement accounts without having to do any complex changes like making it self-directed. In normal retirement accounts, Bitcoin by itself is a no-go, but you can do what you want with stocks. You can thank the IRS for those rules. So that's why people want to buy shares of these Bitcoin-related trusts or other Bitcoin stocks. Another big reason is some people just don't want to deal with the hassle of buying their own Bitcoin and keeping it safe. That's not the easiest, right? People have been hacked before. I know it's better if we take full control of our Bitcoin, but put yourself in the shoes of your less tech-savvy aunts and uncles or even grandparents. Asking them to learn the entire Bitcoin process might be too much, but they can easily fire up their stock brokerage apps and buy some GBTC, for example. In this case, now they have a trusted third party with an excellent track record to take care of their precious Bitcoin for them. The third reason is just that it's way easier this way. When you buy Bitcoin on the stock markets, you're buying and selling stocks essentially, so you don't have to worry about compliance, taxes, regulations. It all fits nicely within your existing workflow. It's just like buying some Apple stock. You don't have to learn new tools or processes to manage this. It's much more comfortable this way for many investors out there if you can imagine yourself in their shoes. And the last reason I see is a little bit more for pro traders who want to take advantage of something called the premium on GBTC or execute other advanced techniques to make profits. You and I, we probably don't have to worry about this one. Now there's a few ways to trade Bitcoin on the stock markets. Grayscale's GBTC is the biggest one of them all, and Adrian actually covered them a while ago. There's also OBTC, which is very similar and much newer. In the US, we're still patiently waiting for an ETF, which would be better than buying shares in GBTC, for example. But in Canada, there's already the Purpose Bitcoin ETF with others coming out real soon. Another creative way of getting Bitcoin exposure in the stock markets is to buy shares of companies like Bitcoin mining companies. And that's exactly what some savvy investors have been doing lately. Let's talk GBTC in a nutshell because it's the most established way out of the ones I've mentioned so far. If you want a deep dive, you should definitely watch Adrian's video, which I'll link at the end of this one. But GBTC is set up as a trust by Grayscale, who was founded by Bitcoin OG Barry Silbert. It was launched way back in 2013 and was the first publicly quoted Bitcoin investment vehicle. You can find them on the OTC markets, OTCQX specifically. They have a whopping $32 billion in assets under management. And for each share of GBTC, you get slightly less than 1/1000th of a Bitcoin, as of right now at least. You need 1,055 shares to get equivalent of 1 BTC. And just know that they charge a 2% annual fee. Now, this is where it gets interesting because the price of GBTC is determined by the market, so it can stray away and differ from the true value of Bitcoin. This is what they call the premium. And it gets really crazy at times of high demand, in which case the shares could be worth twice as much as their underlying Bitcoin holdings. Sometimes it also goes to the other side and it's worth less than the underlying. This is when it's called a discount. The premium is basically the excess price of the shares above the underlying BTC value of the shares. So you take the market price minus that net asset value to calculate the premium. This exists because they don't create new shares that often, and also you can't redeem these shares for actual Bitcoin, so no one can do arbitrage to bring these share prices back down to their underlying value. This means that GBTC is way more volatile than even Bitcoin, and even when BTC price isn't moving that much, the premium can change quite a bit. So just know that when you buy something like GBTC, you're paying a premium for it and will have to live with its crazy volatility. Both of these factors can affect how much profit you get there, so just be aware of them and adjust your strategy accordingly. The best way to look at the current premium is to visit their own website at Grayscale or GBTC Bitcoin Trust, and you can easily calculate the premium just by subtracting the two values displayed. Now, GBTC has changed quite a bit since late 2019 when we last took a look. It used to be 1,025 shares equals 1 BTC. Now it's grown to 1,055 shares due to fees. They used to only have $2.5 billion worth of Bitcoin under management. Now it's grown to $32 billion. Grayscale now holds 3.5% of all Bitcoin in existence, an insane amount that even grew from their 1.3% back in 2019. Their massive success is because there's more demand for Bitcoin, and also because GBTC is one of the only ways you can get access in the stock markets to Bitcoin, and it has a stellar reputation. Now that's GBTC, but let's take a look at some other options that you could utilize. First is OBTC, or Osprey Bitcoin Trust. These guys are definitely legit because they work with best-in-class providers like Fidelity, Grant Thornton, and Coinmetrics for different aspects like custody, auditing, and indexes. Their minimums and fees are better than GBTC, but they also have a much shorter track record, so let's keep our eyes out on their premium and liquidity to see if it's even worth buying. The next option for Bitcoin exposure is an ETF, which we don't have quite yet in the States. But fingers crossed that the SEC looks at Canada's ETFs and are like, this is not so bad after all. ETFs would actually be much better for us than things like GBTC or OBTC because ETFs actually follow the underlying asset's price closely. This is because they have a way to redeem the underlying so people can arbitrage and keep the price close to the net asset value. Like I said, this is great for retail investors who want the benefits of buying Bitcoin on the stock markets, but don't like this pesky premium. And the last option for exposure is to get a little bit creative here and buy the stocks of companies closely related to Bitcoin, such as mining companies. These can give us exposure to Bitcoin's value performance indirectly. Our dear Warren Buffett would approve of this too. Remember, he hates Bitcoin because it doesn't produce cash flow, but these mining companies do. Some examples of these companies that my own friends have been trading are Riot or Mara. Be careful with these though, because yes, they largely follow Bitcoin's performance, but you also have to judge the company's operations as well to see if they are good buys. So now you have a better understanding of all the options available to you and why you would even bother with this. I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. Have you traded any of these before? Let me know if you have any questions or if you hate this whole premise, because as Bitcoiners, we should reject Wall Street and take over the financial system rather than play nice with them. And while you're down there in the comments, please smash that like button if you haven't already. And why not check out some exclusive deals for you guys in the pinned comment. For example, you can get up to $250 in BTC for signing up for an interest account with BlockFi using my exclusive link. I hope this video was valuable for you and that you have a great rest of your day. I'm Kevin from BFB, and I can't wait to catch you on the next one.